Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm filming a fun little nostalgic video. So I recently cleaned out my cupboard, which meant pulling everything off every single shelf and then organizing it to go back on, or, which I'm so happy I did, or making a pile of stuff to actually throw out and a pile of stuff to donate. And I got rid of quite a lot of stuff, although I did cram quite a lot back in on my shelves. And so it meant reorganizing my games shelf, and a lot of the games I have are games that I used to play as a kid quite a lot. A lot of the games I've commandeered from my nan and pop's house because, well, we're all adults now and we don't really stay with them as often as we did when we were children. And so I wanted to make this video where I share with you guys some of the board games I played as a kid, because I feel like a lot of them are ones I've not seen around a lot. Like obviously there are a lot of games I played as a kid that are still very popular today, or that I know like a lot of people played, like they were just kind of staple games, but a lot of these ones I've not seen people talk about, I've not seen online, never really saw them in store. And I mean, a lot of popular board games today are now apps, and really none of these are apps as well. So I wanted to share them with you. This is going to be the first in a two-part series because I realized I don't have all of the games I wanted to share with you guys. I have to go and find them. And what I really wanted to do with this video, instead of just me showing the games with you and maybe sharing some memories and stuff like that, I kind of wanted to like sit down and play the game with my cousins who I played with as kids, but that would involve a lot more planning, and I just really wanted to do this video. So maybe this will be a three-part series where we actually end up playing the games. Who knows? If any of my family is watching, do you want to do that video or not? Let me know. So let's just go. So the first game is a staple for anyone. I'm pretty sure everyone owns at least one copy of this game. I feel like it's probably illegal to not own a copy of this game. It's what we all played as kids, no matter what generation you're from, you played it, and that is Monopoly. This is such an old school version of it. I don't know the year of this one. I really wish it had a year on it. I feel like this is probably from like the 70s or the 80s or something. It's old. Monopoly was always a favorite game of mine to play, and obviously still a game that I play quite regularly. Well, and it's still a game like I play now, and it's such a popular game. As I'm sure you all know, there are apps for this as well, so you can play friggin' online with friends. Like, I just love how popular Monopoly has remained over the generations ever since this was created. It is insane that it has lasted so long, and it is still such a family staple. I used to play this all the time with my mum. I'm an only child, if you guys didn't know. So playing with one other person, like two people playing this game, can be like a little bit boring and difficult and like not as fun. I used to play this with my mum all the time. And actually when I was staying with my Nana Pops, me and my cousins used to play this all the time with my Nana Pop and my aunt. It's one of those games, and I actually remember it was probably about 11 or 12 years ago. Me and my cousins were playing it at my Nana Pops, and my cousin Reese was the banker. My other cousin, his younger sister Kira, was also playing with us, and it was probably like later on in the game where we'd be playing for a while. It was kind of getting a little bit boring and things like that, and we were just really exchanging money between all of us. And I remember Reese, as the banker, would always slip me extra $500 notes with every time I got like the payment from going past go or change and stuff like that. I would always get slipped extra money. He slipped himself extra money, so that way Kira would end up with no money and lose. I mean, everyone does that. It sounds a little mean, but I remember that. I remember getting slipped extra money and she was none the wiser. It wasn't long after that we stopped playing because we got to like the end of the game. We were quite bored with playing it at that point. And I always play as the dog. I feel like the dog is probably the first thing a lot of people play with. I'd love to know which character you play with as well. I love Monopoly. The next game is just as infinite as Monopoly, and it's a game that I have never seen anywhere else. I feel like maybe at some point in the past like 5 years I saw it somewhere or mentioned somewhere or something, but I never seen it anywhere. It's one of my favorite games I used to play all the time, and that is Payday. Like the boards on the back here. The idea is you go through a calendar month, and you're meant to sort of choose at the beginning how many months you want to play for, but we always just kind of played till we got bored. And yeah, you go through the month. There is mail days where you collect the mail. There are buyer cards where you get to buy different things like shares in resources and houses and stamp collections and things like that. What else is there? And then at the end of the month, you then have to pay the bills and things like that. You get loans, and it's just kind of like the game of life, but a bit different, where you don't get married, you don't have kids or anything. I used to love playing this game, and I think one of my favorite things about this game, one of the reasons why me and my cousin played this quite a lot, is there is a stack of mail cards in here, and a lot of it is junk mail. It's just random advertisements that are really funny to read. There are postcards which were highly collectible. I think there was like 5 or 7 of them or something like that. And if you got a postcard, like, it was so exciting. And it used to be so fun trying to collect all the buyer cards and things like that. It's just a really fun game. It was kind of an easy game to play, kind of chilled and relaxed, and you could play it infinitely and go on and on and on. And I used to love playing this game so much as a kid, and I've never seen it anywhere. It was just, I don't know, it's just one of those fun, relaxing games where you just continue playing, exchange cards, exchange money, and have a lot of fun with it. Another game that I haven't seen anywhere, this is definitely one I've never seen anywhere else, and that is the holiday game. Go on holiday and the fun begins. You win a dice game at the casino, you take first prize in the petrol station contest, and then a hitchhiker turns out to be a mad millionaire and gives you 50 bucks. But there are also bills to pay for petrol, snacks, and accommodation. Your daughter is car sick, mum suddenly remembers she left the stove on back home. Which resort can you afford? Will you have to tip the porter? It's a race to see who can get home first without running out of holiday money in this fast-moving game where the whole family can play. That really just sells it, and it's one of those just really fun games where you just make your way around the board and you have to pick which path to go. You pray you don't land on the squares that mean you lose money, and you hope that you get good cards that get you good results. I don't know, it's just a fun game. And I remember I played this probably within the past 2 years with my mum, and she kept landing, because on the first straight of the game there are squares that say, you know, dad left, what is it? Mum suddenly remembers she left the stove on back home, so you have to go home. Dad left the garage, so you have to go home. I think like the son left something on, you have to go home, and things like that. And I remember my mum landed on every single one of those squares as I made my way around the board. I like games like this, games that you just have to make your way around the board. You don't really know what sort of squares you're going to land on. No two games are the same because you don't know what you're going to land on, you don't know what path you're going to choose, you don't know if you're going to have money to make your way home. I really like this one, and I've never seen this one around. Probably one of my favorite games as a kid, one that me and my cousins used to play all the time, to the point where I'm pretty sure one of my cousins said that they wanted this game when, like, we got round to the point of dividing up all these games. Little do they know they're all sitting in my house. This game is so good. It is Pathfinder. This is honestly a cooler version of Battleship. Pathfinder is an amazing game of strategy and imagination. You hide a pawn on your home grid and secretly construct a winding set of barricades around it. When play begins, watch out for the dead ends and false trails as you try to find a path to your opponent's secret pawn before he or she finds yours. It is so cool. I remember we always played where, because when you start the game, you have to say, can I enter from like G1? And we used to always make it that you'd block off all but one square, so you'd spend forever trying to figure out how to get onto the board, and you'd always place your little pawn like behind one of the first entry points where you've blocked it off, and you make them go all the way around the board till you try and find it. Such a good game. As I say, a cooler version of Battleship. We used to play this one all the time. Then the next game is one that I used to play a lot with my nan, and it used to be a really fun game when we all played. So a lot of the games we played as kids were ones that it was really just me and my cousins were playing, and there were a few games that my nan and pop had that we would be able to play with them and my aunt, and Yahtzee was one of them. And this is another big game that like everyone's probably played. I know there are currently apps for this game, like it's another big game like Monopoly. I remember it was so popular. And I remember being so excited when I found out that we had a copy of the game here at home, because I knew my nan and pop had a copy. We used to always play it all the time, and then I don't know how, but I just found a copy, like the same copy, but it's my mum's because it's got my mum's name on the back of it, at home, and it was so exciting because then I could play with my mum. But it's just, Yahtzee is such a fun game, and for all ages as well. So for those who don't know, you get 5 die, you have to roll them and you collect die to get scores and points. So you get 3 rolls for them. So you can either like collect your numbers where say you roll 2 3s, so then you kick them back and you keep rolling to try and get as many 3s as possible, and then you write down your score on your sheet. Or there's things like, or you can go all the way to Yahtzee, which is 5 of any number. There's, you know, 4 of a kind, 3 of a kind, different sequences, chances, full houses and stuff like that. And then at the end of the game, you all add up your scores and see who wins. Again, this was just such a fun, chilled game, really. I don't know, it was just really fun. I loved playing this one as a kid. I love playing this one as an adult. And it was always fun playing with my cousins and my aunt and my nan, just because it was something we could all do together. It was a game we could play. It was a game we could play like one Sunday afternoon, maybe when it was raining, kind of thing. Always a good game to play. The next game, I feel like, is a game that may still be a big thing now. I don't really know, but it was a big thing at one point, to the point where I got expansion packs for it. And I remember it was such a big thing that I think my cousins had a copy of the game, and maybe they brought with them one holidays, and then I think they ended up buying a copy for all of us for Christmas. And it was an exciting time. And I remember, I think then when we were in like a Big W or something, I was like, Mum, we've got to get an expansion pack for it. Anyway, that game is Rush Hour. I feel like there is an online game or an app for this as well that might be slightly different, but essentially this thing. The idea is you get a board in here and all these different cars, and on cards you get shown a picture of how the game needs to be laid out, and then you have to try and move the vehicles to try and get your red car out. And the further you go along the pack of cards, there's 40 cards, the harder it gets. And then you have expansion packs, which not only come with another 40 cars, but also come with another vehicle that gets used. And as I said, I remember this was such a big game. We used to play, it's a single person game, but it's also a game where people can be around you and can be like, oh my god, move this one and this one and this one. I used to play it all the time at my Nan and Pop's. And as I said, it became such a big thing that my aunt and uncle ended up giving us all a copy. And I remember the Christmas when we got it, I was really excited to have my own copy of the game, and my other cousins who didn't really come and hang out at our Nan and Pop's as much as like I did with my other cousins when they came down to stay, they were like very confused as to what this game was, and we were all so excited to show them how to play. And as I said, I got 3 expansion packs, and I don't ever think I've gone through and completed all of the cards. But this is actually a game that I want to play right now. As I said, I feel like there is similar online games for this, but this is such a fun game. I don't know if it's still a big thing, but I remember like this, I think out of all of the games that I'm sharing with you guys, this is probably the most recent one, the newest one. Such a good game. So I hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of this little series. I don't know when I'm going to do part 2 because I do have to get, I think there's 3 games, there might even be more, that I need to either borrow or take from my pop's place. I would love to know if you guys actually played any of these games as kids, especially the games where I've never seen anyone else play them before, because I want to know if these were games that other people played, or if, I don't know, because a lot of the games my Nan and Pop had were either games that they had when my mum and my aunt were kids, or they'd collected over the years, especially like when me and my cousins were born. A lot of them were like secondhand games from like the op shop or from garage sales. So a lot of these games were well worn and used and old by the time like we got around to playing them. So I'd love to know if you guys played it, and I'd also love to know what are some of the games you played as a kid that you were like really big fans of. I love playing all these games. I still love playing these games now when I can. Obviously life is a little bit busier, and as I said, I'm still an only child, but yeah, I would love to actually do a video with my cousins playing these games. So hopefully I can somehow try and orchestrate that, because I think it would be really, really fun, because I loved playing them. I loved playing these games with them as kids, so I'd love to like revisit that as an adult. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys soon with another one. Bye!